that. We're still kind of living our way through it. So how do we get there? So in those 5 billion survey responses I talked about, 46 million US adults, participated in that survey research with us. In the 46 million people between the ages of 45 and 65 have participated in our survey research over the last decade on thousands of different topics, 550,000 different questions in our system to be exact, a little more than 550,000. So we see these patterns and correlations and relationships that you have to scratch your head when you see them, because you're like, wait a minute, that's not what the narrative is telling us. So I'm going to talk about 3 examples of that. We're going to start with work, because we just had a panel on that discussion, and it's one of the more interesting things, maybe somewhat unintuitive. So false narrative, the Great Resignation. Remember 2020-ish time, oh my gosh, all these baby boomers are leaving work and they're gone for good and they're just using this as an excuse to retire, never to return. Okay, we had that racking around in the headlines for months and months and months. Then we fast forward 1.5 to 2 years, and now, oh my gosh, all these baby boomers are coming back to work. And they're doing it because of inflation and they're worried and the rising interest rates. And no, not true. Not true. They left work during the pandemic because they could, because going to work, whatever that was at that point in time, kind of sucked. So they're like, hey, it's a pretty good opportunity for me to step out. I don't really need to work. But they missed it. They sat at home. They didn't feel like they were growing. They didn't feel like they were being stimulated. And as soon as they had the opportunity to come back to work, they did. They enjoyed it. And that starts to paint a picture of a group of people who have power to make and freedom to make choices that 25-year-olds don't get to have, and the choice they made was to be at work. And when we look at our data, 39% of our ReImagineers say they're very happy in their current job. That is up from 27% in 2019. They're happier. 85% of them are either very or somewhat happy in their current job. That's compared to 61% of the rest of the general population. They're not at work because they had to go back. We painted this visual of like grandma and grandpa have to give up their weekly bridge game and go back to the factory floor because of inflation. Like, no, it's not true, right? People went back to work because they missed it and they were stimulated by it, and whatever that work was. And as we've learned, and we'll learn more today, those were for new experiences, trying new things, starting new companies, right? So that's sort of like urban legend number 1 dismissed. Number 2, innovation.